Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 4 different ways to create a fake cut. I'm also going to show you guys 4 different products that you can use to create these cuts. So we have nose and scar wax, liquid latex, silicone and body paint. So whether you're brand new to special effects makeup or if you're quite experienced, hopefully this video will have a few tips and tricks for you and show you guys how to create these awesome cuts. They're actually a lot easier than what you think. We are using nose and scar wax. This stuff comes in many different names. It can be called molding putty, extra flesh, but it's basically the same stuff. It is a wax and it's quite sticky, but it's really great to be able to mold and sculpt into different shapes. The only downside I find with this product is it's quite fragile, especially if you're using quite large pieces. It can be quite easy to knock it and for it to kind of fall apart, so just keep that in mind. So when you're using this type of product, it is best to use an adhesive to give the putty something to stick to. So I'm just using a little bit of liquid latex and allowing that to dry. You can also use spirit gum or even eyelash glue if you like. So I'm starting by taking a rather big piece and I'm basically just rolling it into a flattish kind of sausage shape. Because this product is so sticky, you may need to use a little bit of oil or even Vaseline on your fingertips just to help prevent it from sticking to your fingers. Once you've got the shape, place it on top of your adhesive and then go in with a spatula and start to smooth it out. If you don't have a spatula, that's fine. You can use a spoon and that will work just as well. But basically what you want to do is taper down the edges so they blend in nicely with your skin. Then, of course, go back in with a little bit of that oil or Vaseline to try and smooth out the edges as best as you can and make it look nice and seamless. Now is time for color matching. I am definitely not a pro at color matching, but I do find the best way to color match is to do almost little light stipples of lots of different shades over the area. Some quite light shades, some pinkish tone shades, brown tones, yellow tones, and just kind of work it in with your natural skin tone to try and get it to sit as best as possible. I do personally find that nose and scar wax is the hardest product to kind of blend out and make it look really seamless, and trying to color match can be quite difficult. So if I'm using nose and scar wax, I tend to do more of a sore infected type look, so that way I can kind of bruise it up, make it look a bit red, and that way it's just going to blend in a lot better and just make it look really gory. Alright, so now it's time to create the cut. I'm going in with my spatula, making sure I coat the end with some olive oil so it doesn't stick. And basically I'm just running a line straight through the center, and that is how I create the cut. You can see the edges kind of pop free and make it look a little bit more meaty and kind of realistic. So you can go in and just kind of pry apart the edges a little bit if you like, or just leave it how it is. So for the paint job, basically the paint job will be the same with pretty much all cuts. I start off with a bit of a red paint. I'm using alcohol activated paints, but you can use cream paints, watercolor paints, lipstick, it's completely up to you. So I go in with a red shade first, then I go in with a black shade and apply that basically on the deepest edges or around the outskirts of the cut to make it look more three-dimensional and just more realistic. So that is basically what I do. I pre-paint before I do blood. So with the blood, I absolutely love scab blood. It just is like this coagulated jelly type blood. So I go in with a little bit of that just to give it a kind of meaty texture. Then what I like to do is go in with a bit of a bruise wheel, or you can use like a purplish reddish shadow and basically blot that around the outskirts of the nose and scar wax to make it look more sore and infected in a way, and that is going to help blend it out that little bit more. And then I apply just some more liquid blood over it. Then I like to use just a stippling brush or your fingertips and basically stipple some blood around the outskirts to make it look more realistic. If you guys don't have fake blood or coagulated blood, or you can't get your hands on it, I do have a recipe on my YouTube channel for 3 different bloods: a aged blood, a staged blood, and a coagulated blood, if you guys wanted to give it a crack of making your own blood. It's definitely a lot cheaper, and you can make as much or as little as you need. So to remove this, all I do is grab my spatula and basically scrape off the top layer. Yummy, that looks so gross. And then I basically just use some warm soapy water. Because it is quite waxy, you may need to use a fair bit of soap and just kind of get the residue wax off your skin. Okay, so the next product we are using is liquid latex. So liquid latex is a very commonly used special effects product. It is pretty much my first ever special effect product that I purchased. You can buy this from like Toy World, or even some party shops, or if you're in Western Australia like I am, I know they sell it at Red Dot as well. You can create some pretty cool effects with it, and it's quite beginner friendly. What I like to do first though is apply a little bit of Vaseline or even moisturizer to the area that I'm going to be using the liquid latex, because if you don't, it can feel a bit like a wax when you remove it. Definitely don't use liquid latex over any hair or eyebrows or near your hairline, because it's going to get stuck in your hair and will probably pull it out. So basically what I'm doing is just using a sponge. Make sure it's something disposable that you don't really care about, and just doing a very thin coat on my leg. Now there's a few different ways that people use liquid latex. You can use it just on its own, or you can couple it with a tissue to give you more of a meaty effect. I'm going to do half and half today to show you guys the difference. So liquid latex is basically a waiting game. You need to allow each coat to dry almost 100% before applying another coat. Of course, you can use a hairdryer to speed up the process, or you can just be patient and wait. So basically, after I've done that first coat, I'm going in with another layer of liquid latex over the top, doing an extra layer of tissue, and then finally finishing off with one more coat of liquid latex over the entire thing. You can definitely do as many or as little coats as you like. Just remember, the more coats you do, the thicker the end effect is going to be. Once it has dried off pretty much 100%, you will see that it will basically become clear. So now is the time to color match again. So basically I just use the same techniques and just stipple on different colors and try and match it to my current skin color as best as I can. I do find that the section without the tissue does tend to color match better than the section with the tissue. So just a little heads up for you guys. Once you're happy with the color, go in with a pair of scissors or a toothpick or something like that. Just be extremely careful. Basically what I'm doing is just resting the scissors on top of my leg, so there's no way I'm going to cut my skin, and basically cut a line through the latex to create your slit. So yet again, the paint job is basically exactly the same. I go in with red, I do some black. What I like about using the liquid latex is you can actually get in underneath the kind of layers of the skin, and it does give you more flexibility, I guess. Also, don't forget to paint the flaps of skin red as well, because obviously they are part of your skin. And then I go in again with some scab blood and some fake blood and just kind of stipple and blur and spread it everywhere and make it look really bloody and gory. So I do find that the side with the latex only is a lot more, I guess, flappy and flexible. It moves around a lot more and looks more like skin, whereas the side with the toilet paper or the tissue looks a lot more rigid. It is a lot thicker and a lot chunkier, so if you want to go for more of a chunky effect, definitely the tissues are the way to go. But if you want more of a flappy, floppy skin effect, I think just the latex on its own is pretty awesome. And time to cue Bill, the photobomb machine. Oh, hi Bill. Look at that face. So to remove this, basically I just peel the latex off, and then the blood and stuff comes off very easily just with warm soapy water. You can use warm soapy water to get the latex off as well if you feel that it's sticking or pulling. I definitely recommend doing that. So silicone is definitely, I feel, my favorite product to use. Most silicones will come in either part A or part B, or part 1 or 2 or 3 and basically what you do is you mix part A and part B together. What I like about silicone is it's just so flexible. You can create some really amazing details, but it's still strong enough that it's not going to just fall off like the nose and scar wax will. However, most silicone products are quite expensive, so if you are really serious into getting into special effects makeup, I do highly recommend it. But if you're kind of just starting out and not sure if you'll like it, I suggest going with the liquid latex or the nose and scar wax first and kind of seeing how you like special effects makeup. So basically what I am doing is taking a small chunk of part A and a small chunk of part B, paying particular caution to use different sides of a spatula, because as soon as part A and part B mix, they cure and you've only got about 5 minutes to work with them. So it's really important not to kind of cross-contaminate them in the jar, because that will be all your product basically wasted. So I'm just taking a small section of both. It is best to work with littler bits than a big bit at a time, and just mixing this all together and then applying it directly onto my finger. I'm trying my best to smooth it out as much as I can with my spatula, but then I'm going in with a little bit of oil as well and just smoothing over the outer edges of the product. Because you have a limited time to work with the product, it is best to try and work as quickly as you can. So once it's smoothed out, I'm going in with my spatula. You can use a toothpick if you like. And basically I am gouging out a few kind of rivets and just little weird kind of cut sections. The great thing about this is, as I said, it's quite flexible and it's still strong. So you can create some really jagged looking cuts and it will still stay in place. So basically I'm just wiping off the excess product and then just going in and just making more and more cuts. As it starts to set and dry, I'm just making sure that the cuts are still looking quite defined. Once I'm happy with that, I go in and powder it. Now, silicone is awesome to blend into your own skin. Even just putting a little bit of colored powder, it almost looks like it's my skin instantly. So it is a lot easier to blend in and color match. Then once I'm happy with the color, yet again, I'm just going in with the usual paint, red, black, and then fake blood, and that is pretty much it. So to remove this, all I'm doing is just basically peeling off the silicone, and then you can wash it in warm soapy water, and voila! So this last tutorial is aimed at people who cannot get their hands on any special effects makeup. Basically all I am doing is painting on a cut and using a little bit of highlighting to try and make it look more three-dimensional. Obviously this one is the least realistic, but from a distance it can still look pretty cool. So it is up to you what type of cut you'd like to do, but this one is quite easy and definitely doesn't require many products. So basically I'm going in with a red paint. I'm using alcohol activated paints, but you can use lipstick, you can use eyeshadow, you can use whatever you want, whatever you have, and just, you know, go nuts. So basically I'm going in with red, then I'm going in with a little bit of black around the outskirts, doing a little bit of highlighting just around the edges with a little bit of white or like a lighter color. And I feel to make it look really realistic, you should go around the kind of outskirts with a little bit of a kind of reddy purpley shadow to make it look a bit sore and a bit bruised. And that is pretty much it. You can definitely go in and add some fake blood if you have some fake blood as well, which will give it a more shiny quality. That does help make it look a lot more realistic. So there you have it. 4 simple ways to make some pretty awesome looking cuts. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!